In order to live an extraordinary and abundant life, you must focus on your internal battle and win within. My name is Randy Wilson, and welcome to the Rich Mind Podcast. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Rich Mind Podcast and the 6-part mini-series that we're diving into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. As I've mentioned in the past, he had 13 success principles inside of Think and Grow Rich, and I've pulled out 6 of the success principles that have probably been the most impact on my life. I wanted to share my insights of what they've done for me. I want to share some personal stories, how I've implemented some of these principles into my life, and how I'm using them every day to achieve the success that I'm looking for here in the current year 2024 and moving on into 2025 and beyond. So that's where today comes in. We are on the success principle number 4 out of 6, and I'm excited to dive into this one. This one's been a little bit more of a challenge for me, and I'll get into what that is and why that is here in just a second. But the 4th success principle that I want to talk about is faith. Yes, that's it. Simply faith. Faith is just having the ability, the self-confidence in yourself to keep moving forward through the persistence. When you find that burning desire, when you find that definiteness of purpose, that you're going to continue to have the faith to keep moving forward when you don't necessarily know what the next step is. One thing I discovered when I first started off in this journey is that the first questions that came to my mind was, how am I going to do that? Right? How am I going to do any of this? I've talked about my YouTube channel that I've had in the past. When I first started that process, I had no idea what or how I was going to do it. As I mentioned, I would watch other folks and how they were doing things at the time, and I would try to not copy, but definitely use them as templates in my own mind of how I wanted to go about trying to figure that out. But the idea of faith, of stepping into the unknown without understanding what the outcome will be, is crucial if you want to be and find success in your life. Now, it's going to be coming from within. That's another piece of the faith that I questioned and I was trying to figure out as we progressed, or as I've progressed in my own life. I feel like a lot of times folks, and I've been this way myself too, so see if this doesn't resonate with you, is they're looking for an outside source, something outside of them to give them the courage. It's like they're trying to get courage from something else, or they're trying to get the answers from someone else. And the idea that I want to share with you today is that through this idea of faith is that, yes, it will come in the form of ideas. Yes, it could come in the form of opportunities. And those could be in your outside experience. But from the idea of faith, meaning having faith and having the vision inside of yourself, you will begin to see those ideas. You're going to be able to hear those ideas even in your own mind. And that's the difference. I think folks, when they stop looking for answers all on the outside and not necessarily be looking from the ideas and the feelings and the inspiration and the courage on the inside. I've said on the podcast many times, you've got to win within so that way you can win without. And when I really started to implement that into my own life, it's really made a huge difference for me. And that's where I want to have that hopefully make a big difference for you in your life moving forward. So it's not that you can't have help. You can't have encouragement. As I've mentioned in the previous parts of this mini-series about my wife, we do have doubts. We do have fears. We do have uncertainties. Even with the podcast, I do have doubts. I do have fears. I don't have any idea if it's resonating with the audience. All I can do is do my best, show up, and put forth the best content that I can possibly produce at that moment. When the recordings, social media, the marketing, the offers that I might have for folks, I just have to do the best that I possibly can and have faith that when the opportunity comes or when the idea is needed for me to pivot, as I mentioned, and I talked about this in the previous episode, that I had something recently come into my awareness, a little tool that I noticed that somebody was using recording for their episodes or for their YouTube channel or podcast. I'm sure it's all the above. But the idea is that they were using this little itty bitty tool that was making their quality of their production just a little bit better. And with that, I had the faith and I knew that I needed to jump in and get that as soon as I possibly could and get it here to my house so that way I could start to implement that idea. But I didn't, and I don't allow the uncertainties of how in the world am I going to do this? How do I figure out, and just using the podcast as an example, how do I figure out the lighting? How do I figure out the software? How do I figure out the editing? How do I figure out the distribution? How do I figure out the imagery, right? So I need to create thumbnails for YouTube. And yeah, of course, you can hire a lot of these things out to other folks. But when you're first getting started, you're going to be learning these skills for yourself. But I never allowed that fear, that uncertainty to keep me from moving forward. Same thing with my wife. She doesn't necessarily, she has a vision of exactly what she's looking for, but she's never allowed the uncertainty, the doubt. She's always had faith and belief in her burning desire of what she wants from this wedding venue, helping brides, keep moving her forward towards this bigger vision. Same thing with the Rich Mind podcast. When I first started, I just had an idea and a concept. I started to go down this path and I started to reach out to folks. I started to get some feedback, what they thought, what they wanted me to implement, what they thought I should implement. As I mentioned, I watch other folks and I try to get ideas of what they're doing, how they're doing it. How can I implement something similar on my episodes? And then I just have faith in myself. I had the courage to keep stepping forward through persistence with my burning desire to just keep improving. And that's the whole idea. You just need to keep improving towards this bigger vision that you have for yourself moving forward. One thing I think that we as humans were brought up to believe is that failure or making a mistake is wrong. When you jump out into this entrepreneurial world and you start sharing your thoughts and ideas with other folks, you're going to be making mistakes all the time. I've made mistakes recording this episode right now. I've fumbled up with my words. Hopefully you won't find it because I'll edit it out. But the point is that you make mistakes and that's how you learn. You learn, you grow, you move forward. And then you're going to learn again. You're going to continuously make mistakes and having the faith to keep stepping into those mistakes and realizing that it's not the end of the world. You're going to keep learning to grow, learning to become more, implement these strategies, whatever it is, whatever burning desire, whatever purpose you have for your life. Maybe it is launching a podcast. Maybe it is starting to get your voice out there into the world. If those things are something that you're looking to do, I can possibly help you do that. Don't hesitate to reach out. One thing coming up in 2025, I've actually changed my email address. I've actually changed the website as well. So I'm branding the Rich Mind. So I've got richmind.co, and you can check that out right now. Richmind.co. It's live. And so you can also email me at randy@richmind.co. And let's start a conversation. I would love to try to help. Same thing with the website. You're going to find new materials. It's going to be a new look, a new feel. And the idea is that I'm trying to ever evolve the brand of the Rich Mind to help you in your path or in your journey from a financial education standpoint, from a personal development standpoint, for you to start reaching and achieving these big goals that you've got set for yourself, this definiteness of purpose, this burning desire. And if you understand and comprehend some of the concepts that we're talking about here on the podcast, and definitely within this mini series here that we're discussing here today and the other episodes as well, I'm telling you, it's been for me, and I know it will be for you. You're going to start achieving greater things than you could ever thought possible. The tactics of how to do things, don't get caught up there. That's an easy place to get stuck, because when you get caught up in the how, sometimes it'll keep you from taking action. You need to continuously take some action. It can be simple actions. It can be listening to an episode of somebody else. It can be searching on YouTube, trying to learn how to do a particular skill. It can be going out and finding a book, whether it's from a library or buying a book. It can be simple things. It can be grabbing your journal and brainstorming some ideas. AI, I've talked about AI before on the podcast. AI is a wonderful tool. I know some people are scared about it, but for me, it's been fantastic. It's a great tool to brainstorm ideas, to really get some things honed in. That way I can just get some of the ideas out of my own mind and have it, build it into more of a concise area. You can create images. We'll tackle that topic more episodes in the future. I get excited about it. So that's why I kind of start going down that tangent with the AI. But the point with this episode is to have the faith, have faith in yourself. Find somebody in your close proximity for some encouragement. It can be a virtual person, meaning it can be somebody, some inspiration, whether it's a podcast or an audio program, maybe that's going to speak some encouragement into you, or it can be somebody in your close proximity, family member, friend. I've mentioned Greg Young in the past for myself. He's a great encouragement for me. My wife is obviously a great encouragement for me as well. So find those resources. And hopefully I can be part of that resource for you as well here on the Rich Mind Podcast, because you can do anything you desire. You first off need to make a decision, a dedicated decision. And once you start making that decision based on this burning desire, based on this definite purpose, persistence, and now having faith, I'm telling you, anything is possible. And I want that, and I wish that for you moving forward. So go out there, focus on being great. I appreciate your time and attention. If you wouldn't mind helping me share the message of the Rich Mind Podcast with others, I'd greatly appreciate that. Head over to the podcast platform of your choice and leave me a review. I would greatly appreciate that as well. You can also follow me on YouTube and just as many places as you would like, right? Consume the content wherever you feel is necessary. But as I mentioned also, richmind.co, head over there and grab some of the resources we have available for you as well. Something great and exciting is coming here for us and the Rich Mind Podcast in 2025. So that will be super exciting. Excited to share that with you as we get a little bit closer. So as I mentioned, go out there, focus on being great. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for your time and attention today. And we'll talk again real soon. Until then, bye now. Thank you for joining me on the Rich Mind Podcast. And remember, your external world is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So focus every day on that internal battle and win within. Until next time, my friends.